everybody's doing good out there. I want to talk about what life is like being an adult with ADHD. Okay. There are many people who know that they have ADHD, and then there are people who don't know they have ADHD. So there may be some things that you can relate to if you've never been diagnosed with ADHD. And if you feel like you may have ADHD, then in my description, I'm going to leave a 1-800 number that you can call, But anyway, having ADHD does not mean that you're stupid or you're not intelligent or that you can't be smart, because you could be very smart and have ADHD. In fact, I have an IQ above average, okay? But I have ADHD, okay? And so for y'all who have ADHD out here, never feel like, there's something so wrong with you that you're embarrassed to say that you have ADHD, because it's really nothing to be embarrassed about. It's many, like I said, many kids, adults have it. There have been people diagnosed, and there have been people who weren't diagnosed. I've been diagnosed. I was diagnosed a little later in life, okay, like in my 20s, okay, because I knew that there was something going on with me. I just didn't know exactly what. And I remember I watched an Oprah show, and Oprah was talking about people with ADHD, and this lady was talking about her symptoms. So I was like, you know what? I always had this issue, like in school, like with teachers saying I was daydreaming, like when I was in kindergarten, first, second, third grade, on up. And I was like, you know what? I think I may have ADHD. So like in my 20s, I seeked some help where I could get some testing. And sure enough, y'all, I had ADHD. Adult attention deficit disorder. And what is that? It's a disorder where your cells is not totally connected or relaying messages the proper way because of lack of dopamine. Okay? And dopamine is something that helps you to be able to, concentrate, focus, have motivation, So it's a neurological disorder in the brain, between brain cells, that, messages are not connecting right, and it's like a chemical imbalance, but in the brain. Okay, that's as clearly as I could describe it. Okay, and what is life like living with ADHD? Well, I can clearly tell you, for me, and I'm sure so many other people, life is like living with mental gymnastics. Mental gymnastics. And this is like every single day. Every single day. And let me give you an example, okay? People with ADHD Okay, or let me talk about myself. I find myself constantly overthinking about everything. Okay, I could have 5 tasks to do in one day, and I could start one task, and before I finish that task, then I could be on another task, and before I finish that task, I could be on another task. Before I finish that task, I could be on another, and then another, and then I'm just trying to do all these tasks at one time. But I'm going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay. And I may get them all done, but because I was juggling multiple tasks at one time, but going back and forth, it was like mental gymnastics in the brain. So I may get them all completed, or I may not. But whether I get them completed or I don't, I will find myself so mentally and physically drained. Like my thoughts were literally doing gymnastics. Living with ADHD is like if you ever turn on the TV and you turn different channels and you keep turning these channels, but you don't stay on one specific channel. That is how people with ADHD, that is how our brain operates. Okay. People with ADHD, we get frustrated easily because we have the concept of what being orderly is, but we have trouble organizing things. We have difficulty, and we're constantly losing stuff. Okay, like I can't tell you how many times every day I was losing my keys, and I could have my keys like right on me, turn around, get unfocused on something else, and misplace my keys like that. And I'm like asking my kids, have you seen my keys? Where's my keys? I just had my keys. And then I'm just going into this frenzy, y'all. I'm working up a sweat. I'm trying to find my keys because I have to be somewhere by a certain time and I don't want to be late. And then come to find out my keys may just be looking right at me. I find my keys, y'all. But guess what? I'm sweating. I'm mentally and physically exhausted because I was doing mental gymnastics trying to find my keys. The most smallest thing for somebody who has ADHD could become so overwhelming. Like you could become so overwhelmed. Like you could have a problem, but because you have ADHD, that problem could be this small, but with your ADHD mind, it could look this big. It could look so big, like a mountain. And when you look at it like that, it's like, oh, you get the panicking. There have been times, y'all, I've literally cried. There were times like I went to go clean out my closet at home in my bedroom. Okay. And I have a lot of clothes. But there were times like after I wash and I got to hang all these clothes up and stuff. And I just wanted to get all these clothes hung up, and I could just visualize it. And my mind was moving faster than what I could physically put these clothes up. Y'all, I would just stop and I would just break down and I would freaking cry. I would feel like this is so overwhelming. Like, oh my God, look at this closet. It's just so freaking overwhelming. Like, and then I would have to remind myself, is it as overwhelming as it appears to be, or is it my ADHD making it seem like it's bigger than what it really is? So I had to start becoming mentally aware of my ADHD symptoms and how it was making me feel overwhelmed and sometimes anxiety, And then I would stop and I would just put down the clothes. I would sit on my bed and I would just take a breather. I would just be like, relax, calm down. It's not that serious. It's not that big. It's not that major. Calm down. And I wouldn't go back to the closet until I found myself calming down. And I would make this mental picture in my head, like, instead of seeing my closet so huge, so big, like this big mountain, I would start picturing or visualizing my closet like small. It's so small, it's not that big. This is your ADHD making this like a big, impossible task. You can do it. Once I calmed down, then I would start doing it. And once I found myself getting tired or overthinking about it being done, because with ADHD, you can, because you have this desire for everything to be organized, okay, but you have problems with organization, you can visualize how you want it to look. And you can panic because it's not looking the way you want it to look in the amount of time that you want it to look like. So you can literally panic. Oh my God. Like, I've been on this task for over an hour and it's still not, it's not like I want it. So you can literally panic. But what I learned to tell myself is, when it comes down to doing tasks, like especially at home, I'm not on a time limit. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to breathe. It's okay to relax. It's okay to tell myself, this is going to get done. So I began to start setting, realistic goals, okay? Because with ADHD, you have to set realistic goals, because if you don't, you already are panicking. You will panic more if you set unrealistic goals. You will panic more, okay? So, another symptom of having ADHD is constantly talking, and a need to want to interrupt so you could talk and get your point across, but then you're not trying to listen at the other person because you can't wait to talk. And you will get frustrated, very frustrated, if you feel like you are not understood or misunderstood. Or you will get very frustrated if you feel like, well, this person just don't care. You will take it so personally. You will feel like the world is coming to an end, okay? Because for some reason with ADHD, you could really get into your damn emotions, y'all. You could get into your emotions so bad, really. You could get into your emotions. So you have to, when you have ADHD, you have to control those emotions. You have to become aware. Okay, am I overreacting? Am I getting, irrational here? Am I getting over emotional? Calm the fuck down. You have to tell yourself, calm the hell down. It's okay. Okay. Another thing, people with ADHD, we compare ourselves to others. We are always comparing ourselves to others. And sometimes we feel inadequate to others because we feel like, well, they could do this in this amount of time. So what the hell is wrong with me? And therefore, when we start feeling inadequate about ourselves, then it brings on depression, okay? Because let me tell you something. When you have ADHD, a lot of times you can suffer with depression and anxiety. Okay. So the thing that I've learned is don't compare myself with others. See myself as my own individual with my own abilities. And it's okay not to finish tasks as fast as others. I have to tell myself that everyone is different in their own way. Everyone has their own individual fingerprint. So we all have our own personalities. So why beat up on ourselves? Why? Why? So what's up? Hello, hello, hello. Yes, this is another day. I had to come back and make this video and then edit it all together. But anyway, I'm sitting here in my car listening to the rain and sucking on a blow pop. Watermelon, my favorite flavor, y'all. I'm nothing but a kid when it comes to these blow pops. Anyway, the last sentence that I stopped off of was when I was saying that a lot of times people with ADHD, we compare ourselves to others, and then after we compare ourselves to others, we begin to beat ourselves up emotionally, you know. And the reason we beat ourselves up is because whoever we're comparing ourselves to, if we look up to this person, it's because there's something about that person that we idolize. This person in our eyes is the picture perfect person that we would want to be ourselves. We would want to be like this person. I want to be like this person. This person has it all together. This person makes so much money a year. This person is organized. This person has a love life to die for. This person has no money issues. This person can get up and take trips whenever they want to. I mean, this person is so controlled, have so much control in their life. You know, this is how we see people. People with ADHD, when we look up to someone that appears from the outside to have their life all together, and we look up to that person like, okay, this is how I want my life to be. This is the ideal way I want my life to be. So we try so hard to kind of copy that person, you know, or to emulate that person. We try so hard to be like that person. Because if we could be like that person that we idolize, then we feel like we could be happy, or we could be just as important, or just as smart, you know. But what happens is when we try so hard to be perfect, or this misperceived notion of perfect in our heads, because in our heads, when we see people that are so successful and they, you know, like I said, they're so organized, they don't have to worry about money, they have these seem like perfect relationships. In our minds, when we see this and we try to live up to being like this person, but we can't, then that's when we have that mental crash, and then that's when we begin to beat up on ourselves. But me, as a person with ADHD, I have started learning how to love me for me, okay? And not try to be like anybody else, not try to live my life in the eyes of others' expectations, or even what I would perceive as being a perfect person. I began to come to reality that there's no perfect person. And it's okay to be not perfect, because there is no, I don't care how much someone has their life together, they're not perfect. So, as someone with ADHD, and I think a lot of us do this, we're hard on ourselves because we're always comparing ourselves to other people. We're always trying to strive to that level of perfection. And there's no such thing as being perfect. So I've been telling myself, it's okay. It's okay not to be perfect. I've been telling myself, because trying to be perfect will cause me to be frustrated, because trying to be perfect is an unrealistic goal. It's almost like a fantasy, y'all, because once again, there's no perfect person. So I tell myself, as a person with ADHD, yes, I'm going to struggle with organization. Yes, I'm going to sometimes, or all the time, struggle with cluttered thoughts. Yes, I'm going to get overwhelmed. Yes, I'm not going to concentrate at times. Yes, I'm going to misinterpret things. Yes, I'm going to, start one task, and before I finish that task, try other tasks, and then all this stuff is going to just run together, and I'm just going to get frustrated, and I'm just going to either finish it, but half do it, or I'm not going to finish it at all, or I'm going to finish it and may do it right, but I'm going to be emotionally and physically drained, because I've been doing mental gymnastics, and my ideal of mental gymnastics is just like, just picture someone turning flips, you know, running, doing tricks up in the air on a wire, doing sprints. Well, that's how a person with ADHD, that's how our thoughts are moving in our heads. Like our thoughts are flipping, turning, running, crashing. Our thoughts are doing mental gymnastics We're overthinking. Sometimes we overanalyze. Sometimes we underanalyze. I mean, it is like to have ADHD, y'all. It is a challenge every day. It's a challenge every day to sometimes get through the normal things in life. Like pay a bill. Like I'm good at paying my bills, but like a person with ADHD, we will not organize our bills like on paper. We won't. Majority of us won't do that. We'll just pay a bill as it comes, or bills as they come. But for a lot of us, just to like sit down and actually write the bills out and write how much it is, this, how much that is, how much this. I know for me, y'all, if I do that, it's going to give me an anxiety attack. For real. It's going to give me an anxiety attack because I may feel like, okay, I have more bills than I have money. So therefore, like, as a person with ADHD, I will avoid organizing and writing my bills down on paper. I will avoid it. I would just, work, get paid, and as the bills come in, pay them. I won't, I've never wrote my bills down a day in life. Never. Never have I wrote my bills down on paper. Because like I said, it would just give me freaking anxiety. But, okay. So, another thing, people with ADHD, relationships is very trying for us, okay? We could be loving, we could be kind, but if we're in a toxic relationship, the relationship itself could be very overwhelming, but people with ADHD, it could be triple overwhelming. Like, it could be like really, really triple overwhelming. Like, to the point, like, you just want to run. You just want to, you're like, okay, I'm tired of this, which you should run. And sometimes just the struggles of trying to make the relationship work. It's like when you mentally, as a person with ADHD, when you mentally think about all you have to do to make that relationship work, it's like, oh my God, this shit, it seems like impossible. Like, especially if you have a partner that is not working with you, or you have a partner that does not understand that you have ADHD, and that partner does not understand how your mind works as a person who's having ADHD. So a lot of times people who have ADHD, we have trouble in relationships. We want to solve every damn thing. We want to overanalyze everything. It's just rough. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's just fucking rough. Okay. What else, y'all? I'm trying to think. Well, I've given y'all some examples, okay? And I've told you what it's like to live with ADHD. I don't want to make this too long. Okay. Well, I'm just letting you know. It's hell. It's hell having ADHD. And at one point, I tried Stratera, and it did so much good for me, y'all. I even did a video on how good Stratera was, but I didn't do a video on what happened to me, because I was sitting in my car, y'all, one day, and I felt like my car was rolling back on its own. And I literally had to grab my steering wheel, y'all, like this. And I was like, ooh, I had to close my eyes and everything. I grabbed my steering wheel like this, okay? I closed my eyes, y'all. Felt like the whole damn car and my body was like just rolling back with the car. And yet still, I'm just sitting there. The car wasn't even rolling back. It just felt like it was rolling back. So that was like one of the side effects of Stratera. Like when you feel like you're moving, but you're really not moving. So like I looked it up online to see, like, is this really a side effect of Stratera? And I found out it was, y'all. It was. Some people... And that was a form of dizziness. It can increase your heart rate. It can make you dizzy. So, like, that shit was so scary to me, y'all. I just got off the damn medicine. I was like, I can't do it. I just can't do it. So, like, right now, y'all, I am trying to find something that I can take that's kind of natural and that helps me with this ADHD. But what was my point of doing this video? My point of doing this video was like to give people hope that have ADHD. You're not alone. You don't go through mental gymnastics alone. I do understand what you go through because I'm ADHD and I'm not ashamed of it. You can learn how to manage it. Okay. But you have to be aware of your actions and why you do things and why things seem overwhelming. And you have to fight like hell to stay positive. So saying that, I'm going to tell like this. Y'all have a good one. Subscribe to my channel. My channel is about real life. I'm no fake, phony. I'm not going to sit up here and pretend to be some shit I'm not. Okay. I am Miss Tell Like It Is. And therefore, I'm going to keep it freaking real. I'm not going to just sell you some freaking fairy tale story. Or tell some of y'all what y'all may want to hear. You're just going to like me or you're not. You know, you're going to subscribe or you're not. Bottom line. But if you like my channel, subscribe to it. Hit that like button. Support me. I really need it, y'all. I really need it. Okay, Tulu. I'm out.